Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Bubble Podcast, your new home for Bay Area talent, presented by Streetwise Intellect Productions. I am your host, MistaRye The Realist, and I am always elated to come bring you new shows, new episodes, new type of topics that we're talking about, as is this episode, which is entitled Quit Calling Me African. Now, this is an episode of views and opinions, and I want everyone to understand that this show is not to maliciously talk about anyone, maliciously attack anyone, or harass or belittle any other type of culture. This is strictly views and opinions of the host, yours truly, MistaRye The Realist, and I welcome anyone to add comments or add their views to the website, or I have a place as far as feedback on the website. I'm going to get into that in just a second. Just let me get through this disclaimer, guys, that the Bubble Podcast is all inclusive. We love everyone, and I want everyone to love our opinions. Alright, with that being said, please check out the website, streetwiseintellectproductions.com. We have so much merch on there for you guys to check out. We have so much information going on. We have contests, giveaways, rewards programs. It's all kind of stuff that's happening on the website, and I would love for you guys to go check that out. So with all of that being said, please check out the website, streetwiseintellectproductions.com, and please do not look upon these words as being malicious or hateful. Alright, with that being said, the episode again is called Quit Calling Me African. Now, I have 3 questions that come along with that statement. Like, why are people still out here still wishing I would go back to where I came from? Number 2, why is the younger generation still using derogatory terms of yesteryear? I mean, that baffles me right there. And the last question I want to get into and try to answer in this episode is there some kind of fault or blame to be corrected here? Now, while trying to address these issues, I know that I am going to ruffle a few feathers of some people. Some folks may get rubbed the wrong way, but that's what truth and facts tend to do. So I'm not looking for 100% acceptance of what I'm about to say or what I'm about to speak on, because I know that it will not be 100% accepted. So therefore, exercise your American right to change the channel. Alright, let's get into the first issue here that I want to speak on. Now, going back to where I came from, this in itself just sounds like oxymoronic to me. Can anybody out here show me any historical slave ships? I came across that point on social media. I don't know what the profile was that was speaking on it, but I was loving that person for speaking on that. And it's like, we have this history of everything in the United States. Every last thing. I'm talking about from anchors to signs and everything. Everything is commemorated here in the United States. Where the hell are the slave ships that brought over millions, so-called millions of human beings across the Pacific Ocean? Where are they? There are none to be found. I mean, none. I mean, there are none. There are no houses that have been converted out of, nothing to be spoken about. So, where does this go back to where you come from stem from? It stems from the teaching of the falsehood of millions of us being raided and pillaged from a whole continent and brought back over here to this continent. And this is not our home, which doesn't make sense to me. Anyhow, I'm not even going to get into that type of history. What I want to get into is, man, I'm born right here in the United States of America. I am an American. My toes have not even touched a blade of grass in Africa. So how the hell can you tell me to go back to where I come from? That makes no sense to me. No sense to me at all. So when I hear that from people, it's just like I gotta look dumbfounded and baffled. Like, how are people still talking like this? How are people still thinking in this manner? And it just stems from generational ignorance, and that is really taught. That is passed down, and I'm going to get into that within the next couple statements or couple questions about what I'm talking about here. But for me to go back where I came from, it just sounds really stupid, and people should really think about what they're saying or what they want to say if they don't have the courage enough to say it in public. What they want to say to somebody that looks like me. Think about that, man. Just think about it. I mean, you're speaking to an American, so that brings up one point that I want to talk about too. I mean, African American. Quit calling me an African, man. I've never been. There has been nobody in at least 4 or 5 generations, maybe more, in my heritage that has even been to Africa. I am an American. I'm born in the United States of America. I am an American. There's no need to classify what kind of American I am. I am an American. I'm not a patriot like everybody else out here, because a lot of the stuff that's out here is against me. But I love my country, and for people to belittle what type of countryman I am, and that's how I take it when somebody says go back to where you're from, or calling me an African American. That's how I take it. But anyhow, and I know that's probably going to ruffle some feathers, because I'm going to say a little bit more on that with the next statement. But check it out. I want to get into the next question that involved the generations. Now, I think it was phrased like, how does the younger generation know how to use derogatory terms of yesteryear, or some to that factor. Let me get into that. Now, when I said that stuff is passed down, I mean that from all the way around the board. Everything is passed down. We as youngsters learn stuff from our parents that they've learned from their parents. And guess what? Your kids are learning stuff that you learned from your parents. And there is a systemic growth, but the growth is not progressive as a culture. Now, yeah, we're learning how to survive in certain times. Yeah, we're learning how to do this, but we're not learning how to thrive. We're not learning how to survive together. And that comes from us not passing down the right stuff. Now, what is being passed down are the anger and the hatred, and I don't want to, like I say, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers on this, but I can't say I don't care, but this is what it's about: views and opinions. So with all of these pro-black groups, you know what I mean, and they just preach a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, because they're pointing out what's wrong and how we're being doing wrong, how we're being treated incorrectly, and how that's all it just stems on, and that's what builds up a lot of hatred, and that stuff gets passed down, and it's not progressive, it's not conducive, it's not helping the black culture at all, let alone the human race. Now, when I say other things are being passed down, I mean like the racist stuff. I mean, people want to talk about, oh, this is my race, this is my culture, everybody is always going bad about this and going bad about that. But you guys get around, and black people, we're guilty of this as well. We get around our family members, we start calling all kind of racial names, and it's nasty. It's nasty. It's a nasty cycle, because the kids start hearing that, and they hear us speak like that, and it gets passed down. And yes, I have been a victim of, well, not really a victim. I have been a person that has said stuff around younger kids and all of that stuff, and I see the outcome of that. That's how long I've been around, guys. But it's not cool. It's not cool. We have to watch what we say. We have to watch our actions. And if we are fighting for a cause, we need to be for that cause and not be a percentage of for that cause. Meaning, yeah, I am all this for my black community, but you're getting government funds and all of this stuff to run your program, which means that you are under their control somewhat. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that goes into what I want to say here, and I don't want to get too high political right now. We're going to get there for real. We're going to get there. I'm just trying to draw people into knowing that the conversations that the monologues that I want to have on here, they're fruitful. It's something for you to think about. So, as far as passing stuff down, we need to start talking, not saying stuff like Chinaman or that Mayate or, stuff like that, man. Kids listen to, okay? Everybody hears that and they start talking like that as well. And that's where the generations start getting their use of these derogatory terms, because they hear us still using it because we heard our parents using it, and it's just passed on. It's a nasty chain. So let's start trying to break that chain, guys. That's what I want to speak on. So let me look here. What's the next one here? Now that was a mouthful I just spoke on right there, but it was all truth and facts. But it's also leading into the reason why a lot of people want to call black people instant African or African American. It is a real systemic thing, and that's what's going into the last questioning here. Like, is there a blame or is there a fault? Yes, I believe there is a blame, and I believe that fault lies on all sides of the table. But let me get into the blame here. The blame is there is a misconception of the origin of black people here in the United States, or the place that we call the United States. There is a thought that we were all brought over here from Africa. That there were no black people here ever. And that is a falsehood. That is a falsity. You guys need to not feed into that type of stuff, because every black person is not an African American, and I am one of them, and I take offense to that, and it's a lot of reasons that I take offense to that, because there's also a falsehood of us being taught as black kids like we need to embrace Africa as this place of the motherland and all of that. There may be some truth and some actual factual to that, but the way that it is being conveyed and portrayed to the younger generation, I'm not a fan of that at all. Period. It's not much I can say about that. I'm just not a fan of that, because Africa doesn't even care about their own people. Look at the black people that's in Africa. Look at the impoverished state of Africa right now. So that must mean that the government or the people in power or whatever kind of hierarchy system they have over there is not worth a shit. So why am I going to be over here claiming something that they don't give a damn about? And then people need to understand the history of slavery. I mean, Africans had indentured servants. Another fancy way of calling slaves, man. Indentured servants and slavery had started in Africa. So where do you think the white people got all of their idea to have it come over here? They saw it happening over there. Hey, let me capitalize on that. I'm theorizing here. This my thought, thesis, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It's mine. So, and like I say, if anybody, you're welcome. MistaRye on Instagram. Y'all check me out. MistaRye_. underscore RYE. You're welcome to send me a message. You're welcome to comment on whatever I got going on. I answer and I reply to it all. So if you have something to say about what I'm speaking on right now, I welcome anything, all statements, all questions. All right, I'm not backing down from that. But back to what I was saying. So as far as Africa not giving a damn about their people, why are you pushing on these young people today that are born in the United States that they should embrace a country that don't give a damn about their people? I don't get that monotonous circle right there. All right. You got their brains thinking about what's going on in Africa. So now at a younger age, they're trained on what's going on in Africa instead of what's going on here and now in front of them, around them. And that is a problem. And that's why I say the fault lies all the way around the table, because we as a culture, we as a black culture, we carry on these systemic lies and these myths, and we kind of put a twist on it to make it fit and appease our well-being or feelings, or however you want to put, I don't know, however you want to put it, man. We change stuff to make it fit our thoughts and agenda, and that's not good. It's not good, because it's all grown from a lie. It's all grown from bullshit. So that's why I want to speak on the fault part. The fault, we need to start being more aware of what we're passing down to these kids. We try to act ourselves and be ourselves in front of our kids, which is cool. They need to see that. They need to see who we are. But do they need to see the non-thought processing part of you? The stuff that you just blurt out? That shows a lack of control right there. So what is that passing on? That's passing on ignorance and a lack of control. So I know I'm saying a whole lot here, guys, but that's what I wanted to get into. Yes, I have a lot more to say on this, but I'll try to keep these shows to at least 20 minutes, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm up here ranting. But as far as me being called an African American, I don't like it. Period. I might keep the peace and just not say anything at a point of a discussion or conversation, but I'm letting it be known right now, I'm a person that I'm not fond of it. And another reason why I'm not fond of it, I'll speak on it right now. I'm not fond of it because the African immigrants that, not all of them, not even 80% of them. I wouldn't even go as high as not even 3/4 of them, but a lot of African immigrants that come over here to the United States already have a stigma in their mind about black people in the United States. So they're looking down their nose at us, and that pisses me off. Really, really, that pisses me off. How can you look down at me? You know what I mean? So, it just goes back to me telling you guys that everything is passed down. So they're probably going off of black people in the United States. You guys were sold off as slaves, and you come from a descendant of indentured servants and stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. So again, anybody get pissed, anybody get mad, I'm apologetic, but I'm not sorry. Anyhow, that is why I say quit calling me African, guys. All right, quit calling me African. I'm an American. I'm born in the United States of America, which is called the United States of America at the time being, and I am quite fond of the liberties that I am able to take here. This is where I'm from, so I'm an American that happens to be probably from African descent. I don't know, but it's not important to me. I'm living here. This is where I'm at right now. All right, this has been another episode of Views and Opinions by MistaRye The Realist, presented by the Bubble Podcast under Streetwise Intellect Productions. I appreciate you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys for always tuning in and checking out what it is I got to say. And until the next time, I'm out. Love y'all. Peace.